Yeah. Where are we going? So this is not two. So probably sounds like one. This is not one. So it's not one. So it probably sounds like none. It's not none. Could be many. It's not many. But it is all of that. All of those. Many, two, one, none. There simply isn't anything that this isn't. But this isn't anything. It's so unsatisfactory. It's the shittest answer you could ever you can even imagine an answer so unsatisfactory as all answers are incorrect. And so none of the answers are incorrect. And although non-duality is just, it really is just pointing out that there's not you and everything else, that's all that means. It's not actually pointing to something else. I can't tell you what this is. But if you do want to know what it is, there's plenty of people who will tell you they know what it is. They'll know that it's pure awareness. They'll know it's absolute consciousness. And they'll know all kinds of other things. What I'm suggesting is the peace that passes all understanding is not in knowing. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. Not knowing is the natural state. All knowing is essentially, absolutely illusory. So it doesn't matter about the words. You can get so hung up on the words in the desperation to know. I need to know. There's people who seem to know. Why can't I be one of those? Why can't I be one of the chosen ones, the special ones, the sages, the gurus, the masters? It may not have escaped you that most of those are men, because men are obsessed with knowledge. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of women like to know, but but this obsession with knowledge is truth, and knowledge leads to understanding. And the suggestion is that this can't be understood. And you can go from one illusory understanding to another until you can't do it anymore. I mean, how many illusory understandings have you had so far? A fucking lot, I'm guessing. And it is hard to convey this. To convey that this isn't about understanding isn't easy, because as soon as you're speaking about it, It can only really be inferred that you must know what you're talking about. And I don't know what I'm talking about. And it seems like the only people I can resonate with and listen to, they don't know what they're talking about. And that's why they seem okay to listen to. So you can't know this, but this can't not be known either. This is all knowing. Without any knowledge, with all the knowledge, without any understanding, with whatever understanding seems to come up. All the understanding is empty. All of this is empty. This incredible fullness, this wonderful aliveness, this undoubted being, it's all empty. There's no making sense of that. So the motivation to speak about this is that if it does become undoubted, doubtless, that this can't be known, and the looking for that knowledge, that certainty, we're talking about doubtless uncertainty. Hmm. And it's of no value. It won't help you. I think that's the other thing that is so dreadful about this is, of course, I spent a lifetime in helping professions, helping people. Well, everything is as it is, with or without any help. If the character that you call yours, that you call yourself, is naturally helpful, then helping will naturally happen. The helping has never been yours. You took credit for it, but there was no credit in it. It's naturally what human beings do. Apart from the fucked up ones. And then there's great compassion for those who don't seem to have compassion. Because imagine a life without compassion. You can only feel compassion for that. And it might sound strange that not trying to help feels the most compassionate thing to do. And yet, of course, they could still be helping. I spent most of my life trying to fix myself. You've been doing that. I don't doubt it. And it is tragic It's a tragic comedy that there really wasn't anyone to help. Every human being is perfectly the wonderfully flawed human being that they are. In all their innocence. Absolutely, there is no guilt or innocence, but that does have a flavor of innocence about it. So there's no one to fix. There's no one to heal. There's no one to complete. No one to realize. No one to awaken. No one to enlighten. And although to the one who's been seeking any or all of those, this can feel dreadfully disappointing to the point of despair, to me, it's the most dreadful news. And yeah, of course, that is the good news. There's no more becoming. You didn't come to where you are. You won't be becoming something else. There's nothing else. Not even nothing else. It's nowhere near as bad as it sounds. Uh, a life without hope. If I say it to virtually anyone, they will just be horrified. They'd just be, I mean, they'll just go, what, how sick are you? You're just, you can't go around saying that. Everyone needs hope. Well, maybe they do. Yeah, one does need hope. But I'd tell you now, no one doesn't need hope. And maybe there's no greater paradox than the absence of hope doesn't feel hopeless. In the typically negative sense of the word hopeless. It's neither hopeful nor hopeless. It's as it is. This isn't going anywhere. Alexis, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I don't
Good.
sound good, do I? I sound very pessimistic, but
Not
I
at
don't know.
all.
I'm not, though.
No, I know. I was actually feeling some grief as you were talking because like when I was seeking, there would be like a lot of questions and there was like there was grief coming up because it's like there's no question to ask.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know it's a great loss.
it is.
I know it is, and it's like, well, you tried so hard to find out the answers,
Yeah,
only to find out that there can be as many answers as there are questions,
yeah.
and they don't answer anything.
And then there's like, is there going to be an appearance of a connection to anyone, or are we just going to have a staring contest? You know?
Yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
there's a sense, no, I mean, I'm not talking about that there couldn't be a sense of connection. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there are no questions. I like your necklace.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have to wear it because Harry made it for me.
Yeah.
It's made out of those rubber bands,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so he put it
Yeah, I
together,
love it.
and he gave it to me last Saturday, so I can't take it.
No. No, no, you
I
shouldn't.
won't take it off until it breaks.
Yeah. Yeah. I visited my father in New York City last week, and last year I went to visit him, and he held up a piece of broccoli, a broccoli flower, and he said cabbage, and I was like no. And this year he asked me who my father was, so that was a big jump,
Oh
really
yeah.
big. Yeah. So yeah,
Has he
yeah.
got has he got has he
Sorry, go
got
ahead.
Alzheimer's? Has he got Alzheimer's?
You know, it's funny because my dad always had a shit memory. Like we'd go on vacation and we'd get there to Martha's Vineyard, 3 hours away, and the suitcases wouldn't be in the car. They'd be like back on the lawn. We'd have to like go back. So this was when I
Um,
was a kid, always. So when, he started really, being more forgetful, I felt like he's always been that way. Maybe it's just wear
right.
and tear. Maybe it's not going to be this big thing. And now it's this big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I experienced that with my dad.
Yeah, I know. I've been listening to you, Tim.
You've been paying attention for what it's
Yeah,
worth.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. It's like he loves me. He knew who I was. He held my hand the whole time, and I said, "Pop, it's me. I'm your daughter." In a New York accent, it's I'm your daughter. And he's like, "No, I knew that. I knew it. I knew it." And so he hugged me and he loved me and he was right there. He's like, "No, no, I know, I know, I know." But the questions were there.
Oh no.
Like what the fuck is going on kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's
By the way,
beautiful.
everyone, what the fuck is going on?
No one knows.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh no, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it
yeah,
is. Most people, panic like shit when because the illusion is that you ever know what's going on,
right,
and the truth is you never know what's going on. And that's
yeah,
all. That's all. And of course, there still can be the sense of, oh yeah, I kind of know what's going on, but
yeah,
without, it's also doubtless that you don't.
right, right, right,
With some, it's familiar enough that you can go, oh yeah, I remember this is, I know, I'm on the golf course, I know how to
yeah,
play golf. I'm
yeah,
playing golf is going on, but I haven't got a clue what's going on, really.
right, right. There's a sense that the body has, done it. The
Yeah,
body
because,
knows how to do
well,
it, either
yeah,
because it's never done it before or it does, just like a turtle finds their way to the river or like a lamb
it's
finds their
true.
way to a nipple. It's like, who knows?
Yeah,
Just happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for sharing about your dad.
So much. I got so much out of what you said. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alexis. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Michael has his
Hello,
hand up.
Tim.
Who's
Oh,
the?
This is Leanne.
Michael's had his hand up for a while. Do you want to
Oh.
go first, Michael, maybe, and then we'll go Leanne. Oh, go to Leanne. No, he says
Okay,
go
where's
to you.
Leanne?
Go on, Leanne.
Okay, hi.
Hi, Leanne.
Hi, Tim. So, in chatting with that last lady, I came to me that, we are all meeting here now in a group virtually. And it's like we all have Alzheimer's. But underneath that, because I've had experience with a relative with Alzheimer's as well. And I always thought it didn't matter what we talked about or said or what she didn't remember or anything. But I know that she loves me underneath and I love her underneath that.
Yeah.
Like, and I would call that like the resonance.
Mm-hmm.
And is that comparable to this resonance? Is there a resonance in the group, do you think? No.
Well, there's a very simple answer to that, Leanne. I don't know.
Oh, well.
I mean, each human being here would be able to tell you if they had a sense of resonance in the group or not. And each individual human being, their sense of resonance their understanding of the word resonance would be unique. And so.
Okay, well, I'm talking about the resonance in this Tony Parsons way. Or is it?
Sure, I think you mean in this Tim Cliss way, probably, but I'll let that pass. Yeah, resonance is it's a word we use for
Energy.
what we don't understand, just like the word energy is. Yeah.
Right.
So what do we mean by energy? No one knows that. What do we mean by resonance? No one knows that. Can there be a resonance or energy? Yeah, seem to, or not. What I would say is don't make too much of that.
Well, I sort of am
No,
anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, because again, I mean, if it feels good, if it feels good and it feels like a resounding yes, is that that's my, if I use the word resonance, it's less like everything that my whole body is saying yes. Is that what you mean?
I'm not sure.
No, because of course none of us are sure. We're using these words. We don't really know.
Yeah, well, it's just a way to communicate an idea,
but it's like there's no conflict with what's being said, and it's felt energetically that there's no resistance to it. That's how I would describe resonance, but who knows? Maybe that's not what you mean.
Well, I guess I mean where two or more are gathered, there is.
Oh, yeah, you see that? I would just call that. I would just say we're pack animals and we love being in a group.
Yeah.
I would just say like dogs like sniffing each other's asses and we like getting together and having a drink.
Yeah.
And maybe he's doing the sniffing. I don't know. But it's not essential. But I just think that's really base human, animal, instinctual, natural sense of we like being with others.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a tribal thing. So you could say it feels really good here because this is our, finally I've found my tribe. I mean, that is how religion and cults work because everyone wants that sense of belonging. And I think it's really at a very base need level because we are pack animals.
Yes.
So especially if you've not had that in family, then you go seeking it. Most people get enough of that in family. This is all my social theory you're getting here.
Of course.
But I think if you haven't had that, then self can seek that out. But I will say that's not what I'm speaking about. No.
No, I understand that.
If there can be resonance or not, it's not a part of what I'm pointing to.
Right. I guess It's just more of the idea in my head, and I just wondered what you thought about it.
No, it does feel, it is a nice feeling. There's definitely, when there's resonance, I don't doubt that there's feel-good chemicals
Yeah,
involved.
yeah.
I mean, the ultimate is falling in love, isn't it? You know, you could say that's the ultimate resonance.
Yes. Yeah.
When you know, you feel there is no distance between you and the other. And I will say that's not what I'm speaking about either.
No, I realize that. I was just thinking of, if everyone's meeting virtually, and there still seems to be, in my
Oh
mind,
no. Yeah, there does. And everyone, it's very common to hear that, okay, there is resonance in a Zoom meeting, or there can be, but it's not like a bodily, all together in a room together.
it's not the same.
No, well, that's commonly spoken about, but I don't see that it could easily be exactly the same.
Okay.
But for me, it's a bit like live music and recorded music. You can get high as a kite on your favorite music on your stereo. But you probably get higher in the flesh.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
But because I'm speaking about all experience, all states, whether there's a sense of resonance or whether there's a sense of resistance, that's no more or less what we're speaking of. It's everything.
Yeah. Okay.
You simply can't get it right, because you can't get it wrong.
Yeah, I like that.
So this is what I'm speaking about, is the end of the possibility that you could ever get life wrong, which sounds wonderful. But then what self doesn't want to hear is that you can't get it right. You've been trying your whole life to get it right. So you know that your main objective is to be right more often. You know, you probably accept that you can't be perfect, but self is still on the mission to be as right as possible.
Not so much anymore.
Thank God.
Yeah.
And there's a huge relief in the impossibility of getting life right. That's the peace that passes all understanding.
Yes.
No one's getting life right. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
No one has ever got life right. That's even more wonderful. You know, whoever you've made a hero or a heroine, they are no more righteous. They didn't get their life any more right than you're getting yours. It's all innocent. There's when I speak about freedom, that's really what I mean. Freedom from that incessant need to be okay.
Yeah.
And the liberation of it's perfectly okay that it's not okay.
But the me still wants to feel okay or not.
And that's yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a preference, and it sounds like okay. I wouldn't, I don't mind when life turns up shit. No, I'll moan as much as the next human being, and would have a preference for things going the way that I'd like them to go. Again, it's completely natural. This isn't about becoming a saint.
No.
Quite the contrary. It feels more like an embrace of being the arsehole that you are. I'm not saying you're an arsehole, by the way.
I understand.
But I don't doubt that there's plenty of times you've called yourself one.
Of course.
Exactly that. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Lauren has their hand up.
Where's Lauren?
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Lauren.
Can you see me?
Where are you? I'm looking. I have to scroll.
I have my hand up.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So I just have a situation just to run by you for what you think about it.
Well, for what it's worth.
Yeah. So I just returned to work in the criminal justice field, and
Sorry,
I
what field?
crime.
Crime, right?
Yeah. And so I was talking to a 10-year-old who had been, hit by her father. And obviously, it's a question whether it was right or wrong. That it's not for me to answer. And I came home after work, and on my phone, the first ad that came up was an ad about how to stop reacting negatively when your children throw tantrums. Okay, and this happens like all the time, but it is particularly unnerving when it brings my work into my home. You know what I mean? So the
Tell,
connection that
tell,
I'm
tell me how that brought your work into your home, because I don't see that.
interesting. Well, it's like I'm dealing with a person who is accused of using inappropriate force on a child,
Yeah.
and then I get home and a YouTube ad comes up, like when I was playing a song for my child, and it comes up and it's like how to stop overreacting. It's like a person who's selling a course in how to,
Oh, okay, yeah.
how to not beat your children.
Yeah.
And like it just, to me, the resonance is, it stood out. And I'm
Right.
like, so the spiritual practices are like, you should smudge, or maybe I'll like get in my cold plunge. But it's like, do you, it's like, is there something that has happened to you that makes it that you are like a black hole for energy in in a way, or in a way that doesn't have the same uh
No, I don't know. I, I wouldn't say that, because so it's kind of, so I would just say, okay, that's coincidence. And of course, I studied psychology, and you have something called a reticular activating system,
uh
which is whatever is at the front of your mind. So you buy a new car, and it's a red Ford, and you go out in your car and you see red Ford cars everywhere.
yeah.
So you have this child, and you're really
Mhm,
sensitive, and you're feeling for her, and you're not sure what to do.
mhm.
On another day, that ad would have come up. You wouldn't have even noticed it was there.
Yeah, interesting.
But what self does is then, well, what does this mean? What does it
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
What's the purpose? Why have I been shown this? Well, I can tell you why you've been shown it. For no reason at all. But you can make any reason that you want out of that. And you can talk to 10 other people, and they will probably give you their own, okay, oh, well, I know what that means. That means this, this, and this. So when I say it means no reason at all, I wouldn't place any significance on any of it, because there is none.
Yeah,
Because
right.
absolutely nothing has any significance at all. The
Yeah.
only meaning and significance that life has is what you give it.
Mm.
There is no other meaning and significance at all.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, it's completely innocent. You can't help what meaning and so when you say, am I a black hole? No, I may give meaning and significance, and then I would laugh at the meaning and significance that I've given it. Maybe that's the difference. But that natural tendency to go, well, that's odd. I wonder what that means. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so the most typical thing is you think of someone and then they call you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and you go, oh, what sort of special powers do I possess?
Well, that's what's changing for me actually, is
Because
I'm no longer like buying into the idea that there's anything special about
no,
me,
I'm
you know?
telling you now, Lauren,
Yeah.
all human beings, when a coincidence occurs, will make
Uh-huh.
some special shit up about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a gift we've been given. We are
Hmm.
blessed with that dreadful gift.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah, so I don't think it means anything, Lauren, at all.
mhm. Yeah. It's such mm, a surprise, I guess, how um like large the self is really, you know. I used to think I didn't have such a big self because I had
Right.
taken care of it, and but
Hmm.
no, I think it's yeah, it's just like anyone else's self, really.
Yeah.
It- uh-huh. Yeah.
But you
Oh.
don't have one. But you feel you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
Okay. Thanks.
I will say, so Lauren, if you woke up in the morning with no sense of self,
Mhm.
there will not be a black hole in place of you.
Mhm.
There will be nothing in place of you, which is exactly the same as having a self.
Hmm.
There is no self to lose. You lose yourself, you won't even notice you've lost yourself because it is no loss. The human being is natural being. Lauren is being Lauren. She's not Lauren, but that's what she's been called. And you've adopted that as, well, I'm in charge of Lauren and it's my responsibility. It's my job to make Lauren work, be successful. By work, I mean, be good.
Yeah, exactly.
However, each human being has their own sense of, through their conditioning and I don't know, and nature as well, what that means to each human being is unique. But I mean, most of us have such similar conditioning that it's usually about being kind and generous and selfless and thoughtful and of course it also being really quite hard on ourselves because our parents taught us
Mm.
that would really help. I don't know if your parents did, but my parents, you don't be too kind to yourself. You need to be you need to
Yeah.
develop a really hard-working conscience to keep yourself in line. So
Yeah.
so so we did.
High expectations and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course you
Mhm.
could always do better. That's probably the worst of all.
Yeah,
Even
it
your
is.
best even your best isn't quite good enough.
Mhm. Yeah. And there's no one doing that.
No, no. Well, there's a human being seeming to do that, yeah.
Right. But it's not that abstract construct of
No, I
um
mean, just no, that isn't, no, the self isn't anything. But
yeah.
shit, it's convincing. I mean, the best word I still
Hmm.
use is illusory, but of course it doesn't feel illusory. I mean, it feels absolutely, it's the whole basis of my reality. It's the whole substance of my reality is me.
And even to try to approach the idea of illusion, it's through the self that I do that. Like,
Yeah,
you know? So,
yeah. If I knew a method to rid a human being of the illusion of self, then I would be employing it.
yeah.
But of course, it's doubtless that any method just
Mhm.
reinforces the power that me says to that I have to manage my life, and it would just be another task for me.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that just
that's
makes me
why
want to,
I'm yeah.
it makes me want to cry, like
I
desperately. Yeah.
I didn't think the tears would ever stop, Lauren.
Hmm.
For me,
Right.
and all
But
and all the me's.
yeah, but is it, sometimes I hear you saying the crying is in relation to the fact that it will never, or that it never was. Whereas for me, well, my sadness is the desperation for it to not be.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I just want
Oh,
it to
oh, yeah.
go.
Both of those, Lauren.
Ah, mhm.
Yeah, and so yeah, I'd love to give you some advice, but there isn't anywhere for it to go.
Mhm. Okay.
Mm.
I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Oh, well, yeah. Good luck with your work.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
by the way, when I say there's no meaning to it, I mean it's totally whatever meaning comes up. That's you know
right.
that doesn't mean anything. The meaning doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
it's totally innocent to make meaning out of two seemingly serendipitous events.
Hmm.
This this notion because it's just naturally. I think it's naturally human to do that. So we look for connections all the time.
Yeah.
So this needs so what does that mean? Well, it means whatever you say it means, and all of that meaning is meaningless. So there's nothing wrong with making a meaning out of it, but it might be obvious that, oh, I've just made that up.
Mm.
And of course,
Yeah,
there is a great lightness to all meaning just being made up.
that's exactly what I just, what came to me is it's a lot lighter that way. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. And of course, that's why I'm not too keen on most spiritual teachers because they will read meaning into lots of
Yeah.
random events.
Hmm. Anyway, it's really nice to talk to you. Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks, Lauren. Thank
Thanks.
you. Take care.
Bye.
I was just thinking, Tim, when
Yeah.
I was listening to Lauren as well, about when Lauren said that the self can feel so big. It's sort of sometimes because the me sort of claims everything for itself, it seems that it's big, but actually it's small, it's almost really slight, just like a conviction or an assumption somehow. But because it claims everything, it feels big. But when that me isn't there, there's so much of what is already there, still there, that you would have said was me. That do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. It's sort of really slight. I mean, not nothing. It's not
No,
anything really.
no, but most souls have the sense that they are the sun and everything else is in their orbit. I am the
Mm,
center. I'm the light.
mm,
I am is the light, and without me, there'd be nothing. Without
mm,
me, without me, there would be nothing in relation to me, and everything
mm,
else only exists in relation to me. So
mm,
literally, I am the universe. I am everything.
Mhm.
And that can feel, I mean, I just think a lot of spirituality just gets stuck in the grandiosity of that, because that really does appeal to self.
Mm.
That has great appeal.
Yeah, definitely.
What self doesn't want to see itself as a totally insignificant great ape grubbing about on planet Earth
Yeah.
for a little for a little while, picking fleas off its relatives.
Mhm. Mhm. Um,
Self's not too keen on that, I don't think.
no. Michael has his hand up. Did you put it down, Michael? Do you want to say
Mike,
something?
do you want to say something, Michael?
You've taken us to the boneyard today. I think the bare bones, the barren land, which I find delightful.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I do. Um, the idea that we don't have compassion for another because there is no other. They exist only as a mental fabrication within their own mind or their own brain. We exist as a mental fabrication. So, in the deepest sense, we don't have friends, we don't have relatives. We have, at best, images of images.
Yeah.
Others exist for us only as tiny bits of data points, memories, and they exist only as data points, memories. We don't have any friends or relatives. We don't have children and fathers. We have memories. And our memories are memories of something that exists only as a group of memories. I think that's the bare bones that dawns on us. That as personas, we're ultimately alone in a world we can never hope to understand. But somehow there can arise, or there does seem to arise, a great compassion for the human condition. To me, that's internalized. Life is hard. Life is hard for every sentient being, and for a human, it's very hard. With our objectified perspective, the illusion of self, the fear of death, it's lonely in our world. You talked about the longing that never goes away, the life's longing, and we are life's longing and objectified. We long for happiness and love. They don't exist. They're only ideas. Ideas within a persona that doesn't actually exist. I think intellectually that can take us to the boneyard. And you'd think that would be so depressing, so nihilistic, that it would be unbearable. But it's not. Everything seems to flow back in to a vast emptiness. um, and we find ourselves falling in love. I think it's love of self. It's love, the joy and awe of simply being. Thank you for these talks, Tim.
Oh, thanks, Michael.
Razia has a hand up.
Hi, Raji.
Hi, Tim. Hi, everyone. Hi, Michael. What is interesting was you brought up knowledge. Right at the beginning, you were talking about knowledge. And people somehow talk about pure knowledge and impure knowledge and stuff like that. I don't know if there's such a thing as pure knowledge or impure knowledge. But that's what we spend our time doing, is accumulating a whole lot of knowledge. If you look at even in the Garden of Eden, the snake says to Adam and Eve, eat of the tree of knowledge, you know? I mean, why that? I mean, why not the tree of poison or the tree of evil? Why give them the tree of knowledge? And ultimately, that's what we do. We keep accumulating knowledge. We read books upon books and we listen to talks. We do a whole lot of things to get as much knowledge as possible. And at the end of the time, when this does happen, it's like all this knowledge that you have accumulated is of no value. It's like it's just there. Like, but I don't know. Maybe that's what led us to this. You know, all this knowledge that we have accumulated. But then when you are there, there's no knowledge now. There's no need of that knowledge. It's like all the words cannot get you this. It is wordless, without words. And when we talk about resonance, what is the resonance? Some of us will sit here and we resonate with what you say. That's why we come here. And that's resonance. Then there's a deeper meaning to resonance where we realize that we're not the solidity. We are not solid. We are this vapor. Some people say liquidity. That's the when you feel it, you're not confined by something. You are pouring out into everything and you are mixing with everything. You're intertwining. There's nothing there. There's nothing that you are not. The very air that I'm breathing, you are breathing it. The very ground I stand on, you stand on. The very sky I look at up there, even in these simple ways, we see how I'm not different from you. And at the end of the day, that to me is resonance. It's like you feel this kind of, maybe it's like a primal beat or whatever it is, that we are all linked somehow, connected. And maybe not, I don't know, but it could be just illusion as well. But to me, that's resonance. Sitting here and knowing that whatever you speak about somehow touches me at some core level, you know? Makes me want to be this. I don't know, maybe not be, I don't know. But it's so awesome. It's awesome that we can share these moments together, even if it doesn't mean that I have to come here and benefit from something, you know, or anything or whatever. There's no expectation. It's just to be here and to be in the company of the awesome people. You know, you come, it's the same people that you see more or less, but they're so awesome. And yeah, thanks. Oh, we're done. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Mary Rose has their hand up.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mary. You have to unmute, Mary.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Tim. How are you?
That's all right. I'm fine.
Good. So I have a question, and like every question I want to ask you, I always have kind of an answer before but I'm still going to ask anyway. So when you look out and you see all of our faces and you go out into public, you have we'll just use the word experience that this is not no thing appearing as everything. So in that understanding, whatever you want to say, we're limited by words, but then, there's always, there had always been this thought, this, idea for me that when I see somebody else, then that person is me. And I understand that's just a concept, but more and more, is everything just, obviously non-dual, so that there isn't two, so you're not seeing me and you, but at the same time, is there you and me being just the same?
Yes.
In other words, oh, yes. Okay. Yay. Because,
Well,
understanding this matters so much.
uh, do you mean the appearance? Do you mean what is
Yes.
it? How does life appear to be?
Yes.
Well,
So,
what there appears to be is exactly the same. However, how that's interpreted is completely different, because
mhm,
I would have met you, I'd be looking at you, and I'd be imagining that I'm seeing you and I'm relating to you. And by that I mean yourself.
right.
Because when you see a human being, you probably think you're seeing them.
Right.
You're not.
Okay.
You've never seen another self.
Okay. And
You
that's
don't
not
you,
something to be
you don't know.
understood.
No, absolutely no, because it is naturally how it is. Now, this isn't anything to be revealed. This is how it is. This is the case already. You actually experience other human beings. But what self does, this illusion of me, then I project onto you as that human being another self. And that's you. And I say, I know you. Well, I don't know and I don't know you. But do I have some recollection of the human beings that I see regularly? Yeah, of course. And that's all it ever was anyway. So the thing is, this isn't going to be some great revelatory experience of oneness between human beings that this this desperate need for connection. What it kind of does is annihilate that. This is the annihilation of the possibility of a connection between you and me.
Mhm. Is
I
this no
can't.
thing talking to itself? If there was I mean, in
No,
other
no, it's
words,
no. I don't have no thing doesn't do anything.
okay.
No, no, not at all. That
So
would
it's
just
not
be
like me, that
no,
you're
no, because
like,
if I
I would say, well, everyone I meet is me. So if I have an experience
no,
with
no,
them,
I
then
right. No,
that's back into
everyone I
duality.
everyone I meet is not me. There's no me for all the others to be.
Right. That's back into the duality, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean that's really popular spiritually that I am everyone I meet is myself.
Right.
No, no, there are no selves. You've never met any selves. You don't have a self to meet another self. There are human beings who appear to meet each other, and there are human beings who appear to form relationships with each other. But the relationships aren't between you and me.
Right.
I mean, they're no different to a band of chimps or a pack of wolves,
Right.
and
Right.
all their relationships. We don't say they're between selves, but we've got this wonderful but dreadful illusion of being able to know ourselves, self-knowledge. And then what we do is project that onto the other. So I know myself, so I can know yourself. And when most human beings talk about their relationship with another human being, they're talking about between me and you, and neither exist. That's all I'm ever speaking about. I'm really not speaking about anything else. The rest is
Right.
the rest is fluff, really.
Yeah. And well, oh, my daughter's saying, how do we know that's not fluff too?
Oh no, that's fluff too. You can tell your daughter very straightforwardly, it's all fluff.
Yes. Sorry, what was that? It's
It-
all fluff.
There's no doubt it's all fluff. So this, what we're speaking about is the thing is, this is the most taboo topic, but it's so taboo that it goes under the radar. If actually the powers that be knew what we were talking about and actually heard it, we would be shut down straight away. Everyone who speaks about this would be shut down. This is the most taboo subject, that you don't exist as a self. There is nothing more taboo to self than the non-existence of self.
Exactly.
Well, the good news is that most selves don't want to hear this. So the minute it's
well,
heard,
well,
it's not threatening, because it's so threatening that it's
well,
not.
well, you say that's good news, but it's not a good business model. It's dreadful.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear this. Only
Right.
you dreadfully poor souls, just like me, who were like a moth to a flame. You were irrevocably drawn to this, and there was hope. There was no chance once you got a taste of this. It doesn't matter how long it is till the end, but the end will come, because this is the end. And the only realization is that this is the end.
But so another question, so there are times where, you know, I listen to a non-dual speaker, and, you know, there are different scenarios where the illusion of self became apparent. And, you know, it could be like Paul Summers Morgan, you know, in the backyard, and suddenly there's just nothing, and there was no experience with spirituality or anything. So there are apparent stories and sometimes apparent processes, but it's only upon seeing the illusion that you realize that there's a doubtlessness that those were just stories, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because this can
No,
appear as anything.
it's
It
not
can
really.
appear,
Not doubtless that they were stories, doubtless that they are stories. The stories are all we have.
right.
So when your daughter said, well, how does he know that that's not fluff? I'm really very happy to say it's all stories.
Mhm.
The fact that it's a story is a story.
The fact that
So
it's a
this is a story, that it's all stories all the way down.
Yeah.
yeah,
Paradox.
because it's all or nothing. There isn't, and it's all and nothing.
And you said about, you know, is there a sense of, you know, this is nothing being everything? No, there's no seeing, there is only everything. Everything is, nothing isn't. You don't see isn't. There's no seeing of emptiness. The emptiness is the fullness. So this is full. This isn't, is the emptiness. And there's no way of relating that as an experience. It's only the fullness that's experienced.
Yes, I had, you know, an experience, we'll call it, as a glimpse, where there was no edge. There, everything just, it was just a merge. It can't describe it, and all I can say, like a postcard. And, you know, that's just another experience.
Yeah.
But the closest I guess I would ever get to, you know, if there's an understanding, which, you know, I know understanding.
I mean, the wonderfully dreadful news is, of course, you can't get closer or further away. You know,
Right.
so No, that's the wonderful news. It's dreadful for the one who wants to get closer, but what I'm saying is there isn't anyone to get closer. So,
Well, that was the existential terror, because all of a sudden there wasn't even such a thing as space.
no, there is
But
no
I
space.
thought was from here to there. I mean, time, you know, that whole, and I was like, oh, wait, I thought, I don't want this. And I scrambled back to wherever I am now, but you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and you know,
But I will say,
again,
of
that's a
course,
story. I get that.
no, but no, it is existentially terrifying for self, though, because well, if there's no space, where am I?
Right.
And of course, if I don't know where I am, I don't know I exist, and I need to know I exist.
Yeah, it's almost like a falling or something. It's
Absolutely, free fall. Kenneth
yeah,
always talked about free fall.
yeah.
Lisa always used to talk about free fall.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if there's falling and there's no ground to land on, then there's really no difference between falling and flying.
Right. Yeah.
You know, falling is only dangerous if there's ground to land on.
Well, the minute the mind or the brain gets a hold of it, it says this is dangerous, stop.
Yeah,
And I don't even
yeah,
know, you know, that's almost like a you know, it's a primitive survival almost. Something's
absolutely. Oh, yeah,
dying. You're dying,
definitely.
you're about to die.
Well, if I was
And you
being scientific about it, that's what I'd say self is. Self is just about self-survival.
yes.
And I would guess human beings, part of our success is the evolution of this sense of self, this illusory
Right.
sense of being separate. Because of
Yeah.
course it's very powerful at creating a lot of fear, and fear is very good at keeping you safe. But it's hideously unpleasant
Right.
being being a fearful human being. And that's how most human beings live their life, almost in a constant state of manageable fear.
Yeah.
You know, we call it neurosis, but you know,
Yeah.
it's fear for me, self-fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Quiet desperation, right? Is that what Thoreau said?
That's yeah, I can't remember. Some famous English poet said that.
Yeah.
It was about Englishmen, I think, wasn't it? Most Englishmen, no, it was American, was it?
Yeah, Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau said most people live their lives in
Live
quiet desperation.
a life, yeah, a life of quiet desperation. It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lovely quote.
Mm-hmm. It is.
That pretty much sums up most selves' lives. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So,
Oh, thank you,
okay.
Mary.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you.
Oh, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming. Um, there's still a couple of places if you'd like to come to a meeting in Dorking in a couple of weeks' time. And if you'd like to come to Berlin, then you can book on my website, or you can just email me if you want any details about either of those. Thanks, Darren. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody
Tim.
who contributed. Lovely
Thank
to see you
you.
all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.